People of planet Sheridan, welcome to my Trading for Newbies thing. This is something close to my heart. It is something I'm going to build over the next couple of months because I have a lot of spare time. I'm out in the bush and I'm traveling around, and I think it's a subject that not many people get to play with. And the other issue we have is that due to the wonders of social media, your Facebook, your Snapchat, your TikTok, your YouTube, your all that nonsense. You've got pictures of guys getting into fast cars. You've got pictures of guys in mansions. You've got people flying in private jets. You've got all this utter tripe of nonsense from so many avenues coming at you and going, yeah, mate, you can do this. You get 100K a year just with the 20 grand. You can make $100,000 every 10 minutes if you just put it into this or just put it into that. And really, it's just rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Trading is the same as everything else you do in your life. You can be a welder. You don't walk onto the job as a welder and go, oh, yeah, I watched a YouTube video on the weekend and now I'm a very good welder. Even though I've looked at least an hour and a half of videos, I'm pretty sure I've got this down now. My one close to my heart is golf. There is so much crap on the internet about golf and learning golf swings. And I can't tell you how absolute devoid of any knowledge most of it is. The fact that people are there to create content, not teach you. And once you understand that about the internet, they're there to create content to get you back so they can buy their course or you can watch their videos or they can make money from you reading. That's what that stuff's for. The wonderful thing about this community is the fact that you have people who have played the game, people who have earned their stripes, and these people are willing to give you a wealth of their information. And there's so many in this community that does make that worthwhile. So the plan is I'm going to build this course. I'm going to build it up over the next couple of months as I travel up and down the Australian eastern seaboard, pretending I am a decent golfer. And what I wanted to run through today was just a quick summary of what we're going to put into this particular course. And the aim of this is to get you guys to pull the trigger. Get in there, have a play. You're not going to lose that much money. You're not going to win that much money. You're not going to make that much money. You're not retiring tomorrow. That's the aim of it. And what you can see on screen at the moment is pretty much the outline, but we're going to zoom through it today. And then as I get the other sections together, I'll post them up either on YouTube, in the Discord, or somewhere where you guys are more than welcome to jump on there, see if you can garnish some information off it, but more importantly, get in the game. So without further ado, let's get it on. So with this abridged version, I'm going to skip most of this stuff, but let's quickly go through it. What we do is we sell insurance. That's how we make money. We pick a range, we go and place our trade, and we ask the market to come and beat us. We have some options for adjustments, and adjustments are just hedges. We'll go on that later on. But our game here is that we put a bet on and we say, come beat us. And the nice thing about our side of the trading world is that we get to dictate the odds. We can put an 80% winning trade on, we can put a 50% trade on, we can put a 10% winning trade on. You can put whatever trade at whatever percentage of profit on, and the outcome is the outcome. It's up to you. This is a wonderful, wonderful advantage, and it is, in definition, our edge. The second thing is there's no holy grail. There's just an art. In fact, the great thing about trading is there's the science and there's the art. And as you may or may not know, I'm a pretty good golfer. I play off +2. There's a science of golf, but there's an art to golf. And those two you need in droves to be a decent golfer. You can't just turn up to golf with a wonderful swing and expect to play well. It doesn't work that way. You need to be able to have the swing and then have the experience, the process, the which shot to play and where. And the same thing happens in trading. You can know what an iron condor is. You can know how to put an iron condor in. You can know that it's an 18 delta or a 30 delta. But being able to play it, when to take it off, what sort of levels, which expiration, all that is part of the art. Keep that in mind. There's no holy grail, there's just knowledge and art. News content, not important. It just isn't. If you sat there reading CNBC all day and expected to gain some knowledge out of it, you're not going to get anything. Big reason being is that by the time you've read the article, somebody from somewhere has already read the article, analyzed the article, placed a bet on the article, and moved the market. They're quicker, faster, and better than you. Trying to anticipate something out of the market is absolutely pointless. And as Tom Sosnoff says, no one knows anything. They just don't. Even those people on YouTube who are sitting there in their jets or the car they hired that afternoon for $55 to take photographs with, they don't know anything either. They're just selling you a course. So the only thing you do want to do is know that the timing of the news is important. Tomorrow we have CPI. I'm taking all my trades off this afternoon, bar maybe one or two long-term trades, and I'm getting out of the market. Let all the brouhaha happen, and then go back where my edge is valid, and I have that edge over the market. So let's go to the big pun, and that is actually placing the trade. I've called it get in the game, and get in the game is important because paper trading is pointless. Because paper trading, let's go back a different way. Paper trading is good to learn how to execute a trade. Go and do some paper trading for a month or so, a couple of weeks, and just paper trade it to learn how to execute, when to execute, how the sort of mechanics of executing the trade work. Sure, go and play it. But the difference between paper trading and real trading is one, you're not always going to get filled at the mid price. The second thing is emotionally, you're not in the trade. You may think you are, but you're not. And when you're actually down 30%, it doesn't make any difference. When you're down 30% on your trade in a real trade, it's quite stressful. So do paper trading to learn the mechanics, get in the game as soon as possible. And what we're going to show you is just how much you're risking. Okay, and we're going to do two simple trades. We're going to do a put credit spread and we're going to do a calendar. And we're going to see exactly how much we're risking and how little the cost is and what your goals should be. So we'll come on to how to pull the trigger in a minute, but let's go to this function here. Understand how much you're risking. Let's jump into TOS and have a look. We are currently looking at the ES futures, and you can see we are sitting in a range, and we have been now for getting close to 3 weeks. What you see in front of you here is the gravy train of range-bound trading. I am up 10% on my total market value in this month alone, because what's happening here is wonderful. Now, I have been able to place the trades on, take the trades off quickly. Nothing's gone wrong because the market hasn't moved out of its range. There is no skill in making money here. This is just the market is accommodating the trades I'm putting on. So keep that in mind. Sometimes the market loves you. Sometimes the market hates you. Right now, the market loves me. Let's go and put a calendar trade on. So let's look at a calendar trade. And here we have a calendar trade. This is a pretty much at the money put calendar in the SPX. Now, SPX is a big trade for a small account. It's about a $1,200 trade, and I wouldn't suggest putting this trade on unless you had probably $10,000 account. But do not fret. Here we have a calendar trade, and let's go through the SPX first. Let's compare to SPY in a minute. 57.50. Now, what we're looking at is pretty much the deltas. I'm not too fussed about this. What I'm looking at is profit and loss. So on this $1,200 trade, let's lock it, stop it moving around, and let's make it a $12 trade because the mathematics are simple. If the market was to drop 1%, right? 1%, the market drops 1% to 56.93, let's say 5,700, about here. You're going to be out of pocket $100. It'll be a little bit less. We're not going to go into Vega. We'll worry about that nonsense later. But let's say we drop 1% to 5,700. You're out of pocket $100. So your risk on this trade is about $100. It's going to cost you $100 to put this trade on in either direction. If we go up, on the other hand, 1%, you're going to be out of pocket $40. So 1% move down, 1% move up. Let's bump it up one more. Let's go to 2%. If you drop 2% all the way down to 56.30, 56.40, you're going to be out of pocket $300 on this trade. You would have to do that pretty much overnight for you to lose that amount of money. Conversely, if you go up 2% to 58.65, you're out of pocket about $180. That's the risk you're putting in the trade. If you wake up tomorrow and the market's down 300, then yeah, it's a different world. But let's face it, that happens never, or once every few years. For most of the time when you're playing, if you look at this trade reasonably, you're going right. Out of pocket $200 on the way up, out of pocket $350 on the way down. But that's only if it happens today. Let's say in 4 days' time, we do exactly the same thing. We're down $100 to the upside. We're down $300 to the downside. That's your risk. You're putting on a $1,200 trade. You're risking, say, $300. Now, admittedly, you're going to do other stuff before it gets to that level. But if you wake up with a 2% down move, which probably happens a couple of times a year, that is what you're risking. So when you sit there going, I'm putting a $1,200 trade on, oh, it's $1,200 I'm risking. Yeah, you are, but you're not really. So if you're using the idea that I don't want to lose the $1,200 for the trade, let's try something else. Let's go to the SPY. We are now looking at the SPY, and we're placing exactly the same trade on. Let's have a look at that particular trade. This trade is going to cost you $129. And obviously, we're not going to make our fortune off $129 trades, but we are going to have a very cheap point of entry, and we're going to make very little money out of it. But let's have a look at our risk metrics again. We're going to use 2% this time because otherwise we're going to be here all afternoon. So 2% move up, 2% move down. If we move down this afternoon, we're out of pocket $11. Sorry, if we move up, we're going to be out of pocket $11. That's your risk, 11 whole dollars. If we drop 2% tomorrow, you can be out of pocket $23. There's your risk for the trade. But what you are doing here is you are learning how to place the calendar, how to take off the calendar, when to take off the calendar. And the fact of the matter is that even through risking a lowly $25, $30 for a trade, you are learning something. And it's a very, very cheap learning methodology. So a calendar, 15-day, a $1.29 entry. And if you're thinking, you know what, I want a bit more than that, let's put 3 contracts on. And now we're risking 69 to the downside, 34 to the upside. And if you're crazy enough to leave this on for 3 or 4 days, you can make $50. Somewhere around the middle. Probably won't. Let's say you're over here, $50 to the upside, $34 to the downside. What you're going to learn by putting this trade on is how the price moves, how to put it on, how to manage it, maybe how to adjust it. But the fact of the matter is, skin is in the game. It's real money that's being won and lost, and you are gaining so much experience by just putting the goddamn trade on. Can't tell you how important this is. Skin in the game is experience. Experience breeds that knowledge and confidence, that confidence in the craft. Put the trade on. Get into the game, and you can do it for as little as $20. That's your calendar. Let's try another trade, the good old credit spread, which is a wonderful trade to pick up and learn on, and we'll break it down. If you haven't seen the video I did on vertical spreads, please jump into the new traders section of Discord and you will see the vertical credit spread video at the top. The idea of the credit spread is just a trade to the upside in this particular methodology because we're doing a put credit spread. We are collecting $1.30 for this trade. And when we put the trade on, it's going to cost us, I think, about $370 because that's the difference in the spread. Yep, 370 bucks. So we're risking $370 on this trade. And what we're hoping for in less than 15 days time is for the market to either stay where it is, move up gently, or not go down too much. Now, with this particular trade, you can see that we have no risk to the upside. And if we do drop by 2%, we're out of pocket $117. And that's a move all the way down to 56. We're at 56.36, all the way down here. Before it gets there, I'd hope you'd make some more changes to it. But also, if the market moves down in a few days' time, with a credit spread, it doesn't really move that much on the downside. Once you get outside of this little protective tent, then really it's time to take the trade off and put something else on. And if you wait till you got down to the break evens, you're out of pocket $60. So with a credit spread, you're risking $60. And the profit target on this particular trade, I like to make about 30%. So if I'm risking $1.30, if I have a chance of making $1.30, I want to make about 30 bucks on it. So if we can get to 5,800, there's a $40 win. You're trying to make 40 bucks and you're risking about $60, which is about a good option, especially because the market can stay where it is. It can go up or it can go down a little bit and you're still going to make money. So a credit spread is really good. Again, it's only costing you 370 bucks, which is the difference between the strikes. More information about verticals is in that Discord video. If you're interested in the mechanics of the vertical spread, have a look in there. I'll probably do one on calendars a bit later on as well. So, vertical spread, very low level entry cost, lovely profit margin on it, and a very easy trade to put on and pull the trigger on tomorrow afternoon. The best way I've found to do it is just go into your trades. I've used, I think, a 35 delta there. I'd probably go for a 30 delta or even a 20 delta, somewhere between 20 and 25 if you're risk averse, 30 if you don't mind a little bit of extra risk for your 60 bucks. Vertical spreads covered. So we've just showed you two particular trades, and I want to go through something that rather is close to my heart, and that is the idea that simple makes just as much money as complex. You don't need to have a double diagonal with a hedge and a protective put over here and this over there to make money. When you start off, calendar spreads are wonderful, vertical spreads are simple, they're easy to manage. If it all goes pear-shaped, you can take the trade off and you're going to be still able to put trades on again tomorrow. Always remember, every product has a smaller product. SPX has SPY. The NQ always has the QQQ. There's heaps of other products you can trade to match your risk. Match the product to your budget and then just throw trades on with reckless abandon. That's not true. Throw trades on, one or two a week, and just learn the craft. The fear is going to stop you putting trades on. Just use your noggin, ask some people in the Discord when, how, what, and get something on. Do it outside of the PPI, CPIs, non-farm payrolls. Do it outside of the big news events. Manage your risk. Don't let the fear of losing money stop you, because you now know even with a 2% move, you're still not going to lose that much money depending on what you trade. You stick with SPY and the Qs, even with a 2% move, you're going to lose 60 bucks. And more importantly, if you're right, you're going to make 60 bucks. The bit on the plan, I'm going to do in much more depth in the main video because it's important. Because the plan is where you learn what you're doing. The basic thing is that have a plan. I put a calendar on. If I go to here, I'm going to put another calendar on. Or if I put a calendar on here and I put 2 calendars on and I moved my break evens, I'm going to take one calendar off and put the other calendar on below. Have a plan. Learn a plan. Figure out what other people are doing. I learned off Dino what he was doing with that other iron fly about 2 weeks ago, and I copied that straight off him. Plagiarism. Copy everybody else. Go nuts. Feel free to ask everyone's opinion. Test it. See if it matches your risk appetite. Implement it. The bit on confidence is important because the confidence is what gets you to put the trades on. Can this replace my job? Of course it can. No problem at all. But it does take time to learn. And you don't have to learn all the trades. I pretty much trade 3. I trade a broken wing butterfly, double diagonal. I sell puts, but that's only in the main account. And I sell covered calls, also in the main account. But double diagonals and broken wing butterflies are my main go-to strategies. And I'm very good on both those particular strategies because I've done lots of them. I don't do iron condors, mainly because it doesn't suit me, so I don't do them. But I have other trades that imitate them. But I am very good with 2 particular kinds of trade, and they're not complex. How much can I make? Easy. How much do you want to risk? This is the big question. How much can I make? It's real simple. How much do you want to risk? If you want to earn 50 grand a year, what you do is you get 50 grand, you go to the casino and you put it on red. And if red comes up, you've made your 50 grand for the year. It's exactly the same in trading. How much you risk dictates how much you make. It also dictates how much you lose. So your appetite for risk dictates how much you can make. I told one of the guys in Discord today, go and trade for a month at your size. Add one more contract to it, to each of the trades. So he went from $1,500 a trade to 2 grand a trade. And document the entire month. Then go and book some time with Dan and run through the entire month with Dan. And say, mate, how can I tune this? How can I do better? How did I feel here? And get to know how you work, how the trades work, and whether your reactions to how the market moves with your trades work. That's where the mentoring comes in. He's been doing it for many, many, many years. Go and have a month, document it, go and book an hour. It costs 2 fists to 5/8 a bugger all. And then get someone to go through over your shoulder and give you a personalized idea of what you're doing. That is how you get better. So, in conclusion, this is going to be the basic skeleton of what this massive long video series will be about. I'll do them in little batches and release them out in batches. I'll probably just throw them on YouTube and share them with the group. But I hope this little video has been helpful for the newbies. And to summarize, it's real simple. We sell insurance. We place our trades. We let the market beat us. We have the odds work in our favor. And the most important thing is to get trading. Just start simple, start small, because it's very easy to make small amounts of money in option trading. It really is. It's the ramp up that hurts. So start small, learn and see what's happening, because you don't freak out when you're down 30 bucks on your account. You don't freak out when you're down 50 bucks on your account. But you wake up one morning, you're down 500. All of a sudden the emotions kick in and your brain changes. So your idea is to treat this as somebody else's money, to look at it, and the best way to do that is to keep the losses insignificant and then slowly ramp it up. Once you've got some documentation, once you've got some training, once you've got some experience, and you start working the craft. That's it from me. I think I've rabbited on for enough for one morning. I hope you guys are having a fantastic week. I am going back to this beautiful chart of the SPX, and we're down a whole 3 points. Going to be a 0-day trade today. All the best, everyone. Have a great week.